What's up everybody, it's Dre. In this video I want to talk about tripods, specifically this tripod, more specifically a cheap tripod. Cheap tripods, sub $100 tripods, that's what I call cheap tripods. I need to learn how to say the word tripods. Well anyway, I want to talk about cheap tripods. I did a video on this particular one. This is my DOLICA 6, I got it over there, AX620B tripod that I reviewed about a year ago on the channel. You can check that out. I will put the link in the description below. I own this tripod for about 4 to 5 years, and right now here it is. It's still working. I still use it when I need to use a tripod. But in the comments of that video, a lot of people misunderstood what I was talking about. The reason why I reviewed this tripod is because I owned it. So I reviewed it, you know, hey, this is what I got, check out this tripod. Doesn't necessarily mean to buy this tripod, but what I was getting at is you need to buy the tripod that works for you. This particular tripod works for me. I don't do heavy work. I'm not shooting on the beach, ocean, wind. For the most part, when I'm using a tripod, it's either in a situation like this, it's perfectly steady, or I'm in the street, sidewalk, it's perfectly steady. Something like that, some situation like that where I'm always holding the tripod. Crashing waves is not gonna be knocking down my tripod, or a hurricane force winds, or even just a windy day, because I'm not in those conditions. I don't shoot in those conditions. This tripod even is strong enough to hold my gear, to hold what normally I put on it. Although, when I have my camera with the battery grip and the 70 to 200, I am pushing it a little bit with that. So I will admit that. I probably need a more stronger tripod, because when you purchase a tripod, you have to make sure the tripod can support the weight that you are going to put on it. A situation like this is the D7000 kit lens, battery grip, it can hold that. I don't know, what does that weigh? 6 pounds or something like that? It can handle that, so it's a good tripod for that. So what I'm getting at, a lot of people in the comments, oh, if it's gonna break, and if it breaks every 2 years or every year, and you keep buying cheap ones, you might as well buy a more expensive one for the get-go. But for me personally, I had this 4 or 5 years, it's still going strong, nothing broke yet, it's working for me, so I don't know what you're talking about. If you're in a situation where you break tripods every 2 years, you probably should have bought a more expensive one, because you probably overuse what this particular tripod or a cheap tripod was meant to do. And that's just to hold your camera still in a situation like this. You know, not out in whatever it is that you're using to break it, because I don't know, I don't even know how you break it. I know shit breaks, but I don't know. Anyway, you probably got a cheap tripod or a cheaper tripod to begin with, because you got cheap tripods that are good, and you got cheap tripods that are just cheap. Shouldn't have bought it to begin with. So anyway, that's one of the misconceptions about the video. What you need to do is to buy a tripod that's gonna work for you. That's the point of the video. Let's go to the computer. I wanna show you something. Okay, so here we are on Amazon.com. This is the DOLICA AX620B 162-inch ProLine tripod with ball head. And as you can see the picture on the left, this is the tripod. This is one of the positions that it can get in. That one, and this is also the ball head. The ball head, comes with it. You're able to take this ball head off, and I replaced mine with the professional Manfrotto grip type ball head thing, you know. Anyway, I love that thing. Anyway, so you could take that off and put your own ball head on, or your own head. Any kind of head you use, put it on there. Anyway, so this is some of the positions that it comes with that you can do. You can bring it all the way down like that, you know, like that. That weird position that I don't use. I don't shoot like that, but if I needed to, hey, I can do it. So you can see it is a versatile type tripod. And this guy, he did a video on it. Check him out. I don't know what he's doing, but he's shooting that way, and maybe he bought this tripod because it works for him. It got into that position, and I know pro tripods do the same thing, but hey, this one works for him. It's gonna be steady in that situation that he's using it. Anyway, over here, 4.5 stars. 2,777 people reviewed it. To get 4.5 stars, that is a lot. That is a good rating on Amazon. You can get this in 60-inch, 62-inch, and you know, I'm not here to basically advertise this thing, so But one of the bottom lines, I just wanted to show you the different positions, and right here, this is the most important part. The thing I wanted to show you, support 13.2 pounds. When you buy a tripod, you have to make sure that your rig is not heavier than what it supports, because if it's over, yes, it could topple over, it will be more wobbly, and it just won't be safe. They're telling you what the weight is, and if you over that, it's not a good tripod. It's gonna suck. So make sure you check out the weight that your weight of your equipment, and you buy a tripod that is going to support your weight. Anyway, so that's the weight. That's the thing I wanted to look at. It's a $50 tripod, and I wanted to focus on this 4.5 stars. 2,077 people reviewed it. It's something, hey, you know, it's something good about it. Anyway, this is the pros. I want to go ahead and talk about the cons. Okay, so now that you've seen what I was talking about online, let's talk about some of the downfalls of a sub $100, $50 or cheap tripod. This particular tripod, I think the legs should have opened a little more, because it has shake. It just doesn't seem like it's sturdy. If somebody were to walk by, you know, they could do something like this. See that? So, you know, that's not necessarily what you want. Your rig could tumble to the ground and totally destroy your camera. But you know what? When I'm using this, it's never sitting in a section where a crowd, somebody's gonna knock it by. Anytime I use my tripod, I'm like this. I'm always behind it. I'm always in control, and I never leave it. The most I might do is go like this and direct a model or direction of what I'm trying to get, and then I kind of get back and take the shot. So therefore, I'm not in a section or in an area where somebody's gonna topple it over, so that's not gonna happen. Number two, it does shake if you do like this. You see that shaking? I can kind of look at the level here, and it is shaking. If you do work that's slow, photography work, slow shutter type work, you might not want to use this, but then again, I mean, who does this anyway, right? This is how you take a picture, right? And if you're doing slow shutter work, maybe you should have a remote shutter, right? Or if you're worried about the mirror kind of action, maybe you should put the mirror up so you don't have to worry about that. So anyway, that's some of the things that's bad with this tripod, but I don't worry about it because I'm not in those situations. I personally don't use a tripod for that. Also, when I am shooting, I am like this. Like I said, I'm always in control. I'm holding it tight with 2 hands, and I'm mostly using the tripod just for stability report, like assisted stability, because I'm already holding it with 2 hands. And don't forget, I have this also set up, and nothing is on the hook where you can weigh it down so you don't get all that kind of shake anyway. So wait, bottom line, to sum it up, when you're buying a tripod, buy what works for you. If you're gonna be shooting in beaches, oceans, if you're gonna be shooting in concert arenas or any kind of conventions where people can walk by and do this, you probably don't want this tripod. If you're always gonna shoot in the studio or maybe in the street, kind of like what I do, and nobody's gonna walk by, it's just you and somebody over there in front of the camera, maybe you can consider this tripod. You saw online, it's 4.5 stars. Many people reviewed it. Maybe they're amateurs and they don't know what they're talking about, or maybe some of them are pros and it's like, hey, the tripod works for me. So anyway, buy a tripod that works for you. That's the point of this video. That's what I'm talking about. That was the point of the last video. Although there's pros and cons on this tripod, and there's things that I don't like about this tripod, I still use it when I need a tripod because it works for me. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. Please check out my last video, which is over there, where I'm talking about photo shoots on the train tracks. You don't want to do it, or do you? Check out that video and I talk about it right there. Thanks for watching. I'm Dre. I will put the link to this tripod in the description below. The link to the last video where I reviewed this tripod in the description below. And I appreciate you watching. Of course, I love you all. I'm Dre, man. EMIP out.